We had the rand up from 6-week lows on Friday, and while the risk for immediate blowout of the rand have dissipated, like we were saying earlier, it's a temporary solution, to the Greece solution, Greece problem that we've got on the table here. So just how much risk to the upside are we looking at for the local unit?
Good morning, Alishia. Yes, we have seen that swift uptick in dollar rand, and the rand this morning, exhibiting a weakening bias. And like you suggest, we've had some EU leaders deciding on a fresh bit of bailout for Greece and the region. But we've still got another heavyweight hanging in the wings, and of course that's the US. And we still haven't had any final clarity as to how they're going to raise their debt ceiling. So I'm afraid this lingering sovereign debt issue isn't out of the way as yet, and as a result there's still this risk aversion back in the market. We just have to look at the gold price. We just have to look at Wall Street on Friday to know that risk aversion is still very much in vogue, and as a result we've seen rand short covering come to an end.
So we've got then, one would assume, bias for a weaker rand currently at play as we move through this week.
Correct. I mean, we've got a range for this week at 674 up to 694 would be the most immediate range. Of course, if we don't have any joy out of the States this week, or the market doesn't like what it hears, and we see another broad range of risk aversion, then we could see the rand actually going back above that 7 rand handle. But I think that's our kind of range for the week. And that alludes to, as you say, a weaker rand bias.
Having said all of that, we've seen a good demand for our local bonds come through from foreigners. What role do you see that playing in terms of influencing rand direction? Because that was one of the reasons traders were saying we could potentially see better levels for the rand, and those comments being made late last week.
Yeah, I think it's still very much the receiver trade is coming through again. Obviously, the MPC statement last week was dovish, and the market feels that the Reserve Bank is going to keep rates on hold for a protracted period of time, probably until next year. And the receiver trades have worked quite well in South Africa. But of course, the risk to that is that your currency starts to weaken for global factors. And I think that is the risk that we're putting on the table. I think that if there is more concern about this global recovery, or risk aversion rises for whatever rhyme or reason, we're going to see the rand weakening. And then those receiver trades don't look that great, because the currency depreciation can obliterate your yield differential very quickly. So those are the kind of things we've got to look at, and just looking at the markets, we're just seeing the rand really taking its cue from offshore developments rather than local developments. And sure, people will continue to exploit that receiver trade, but when the tide turns, as we've seen in the past, things reverse very quickly. So I wouldn't hang my hat on it for infinitum.